Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Know Traitors podcast over here on RHAP. I am one half of your host, the Duke of Deception, Pooya and Scally, here with Brian Scally, and we're here to talk to the first person out of Traitors Canada Season 3, murdered in very unorthodox fashion, Ty McDonald. Ty, how are you doing at this hour?
I'm doing great. Just blessed to have had another opportunity to be on another show. Unfortunately, it was cut very short, but nonetheless, can only be grateful for the experience.
Ty, glad to be talking to you. Not this early, but excited to have seen you show up here. I know we're disappointed. Yeah, there's so much to ask. Let me start with, you said you knew that this early part of the game would be the most difficult for you. What did you expect to be really the big problem for you coming in? And then we can get to what actually happened.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, not just for myself, but I think for anybody who has been on reality TV, heading into such a environment as traders, where you're trying to sniff out potential suspects, and it's you really have no reason at a round table to point any fingers, you know what I mean? Because you're really just taking shots in the dark, and you're waiting to gather data over the next few days. Because the data you have in day 1 or 2 is very minimal. You're just meeting these people for the first time. You don't know people's little quirks and nuances in their behavior. So it's hard for you to say, oh, well, this person's acting strange or not. So I think that, when you're watching as a viewer and you're seeing these people make what you deem to be such obvious dumb decisions, it's not dumb. It's just people don't know. When you're in it, you don't know everything that's going on. As a viewer, you get to see all the conversations happening and all the different things that are going on. But as a player, you're only exposed to whatever rooms and conversations you're actually in, right? So I knew that it was going to be very dangerous as a reality person in general. Those first couple of days before the social, I guess, hierarchy gets established, and then on top of that, me being having had the villain edit from Big Brother, I think that again would have put a more target on my back. Thankfully, I think Kevin Jacobs is already seen as kind of that mastermind, so that kind of made me a little bit more comfortable, because if it came to it, I think I could have spun that route. Like, hey guys, it makes more sense for Kevin to be a traitor than me, but we didn't get that far, unfortunately. So, but that's what I meant by the first couple of days are very dangerous.
How much prep had you done going into the show, Ty? Were you like a big fan of the Traitors, or did you do a crash course after you got asked to be on, or you like looked into being
Yeah, I
on?
did. I did a crash course. The same kind of situation with Big Brother. I'm not a huge reality guy, if I'm being real. But competitor. I am a fan of Big Brother Canada now, having been a part of it and being a part of it. And
Mhm.
now it'll be the same situation with Traitors. But before that, I had really just watched. I think it was season 1 where Kuzi was on, because she was on my cast as well for Big Brother. So I'm like, I gotta support Kuzi. So that was my first, I guess, introduction to Traitors, because I know that it's a pretty. There's other countries that have been have their franchises going on for a lot longer than Canada. But yeah, it was just a real quick crash course when I was asked to be on the show, and just to understand, the different rules of the game, and I try not to go into any kind of game with too too hard of a set of rules to play by, or like a game plan that's too rigid, because if one thing's out of place, then everything kind of crumbles, right? I think it's important to be adaptable, and understand the shift in dynamics as the game unfolds. So that was my game plan going in. Just be flexible, be as alert and in the know as possible, but don't be rigid to one path to victory, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I have a quick two-parter. Coming in, Ty, were you hoping to be a faithful, or were you disappointed looking to be that traitor?
Oh man, I wanted to be a trader more than anything. I think that when I got touched, my heart started pounding. It's crazy. I still remember this. I remember the feeling. I had a guru, like the energy drink. I don't know if you guys have that in the States, but I had a guru energy drink that morning. So it's loaded with sugar. My heart's already racing. It's a bunch of excitement, and I get touched, and I can feel my heart pounding in my throat. I'm like, yo, you need to relax, because if the blindfolds come off now, they're gonna know you're a trader. Calm myself down. I'm like, thank God I'm a trader. I'm safe. Take the folds off. If you've been touched, you're faithful. I was like so disappointed, because I was really looking
Yeah.
forward to just being a trader, and bringing that entertainment value, but also like being able to show people like my strategic thinking, because I think that was very much left out of my edit on Big Brother. I was just known to be a physical competitor, and people thought, oh, he's just a dumb jock. But I like to think that I have a decent brain, and I'm able to strategize pretty well. And I think that having had the opportunity to be a trader would have been the perfect opportunity to display that.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask about how, you know, the big switch up there, because I think I would have left like after the reveal that it's the difference.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was insane. I think that it's a great twist for TV, and I think just hearing the feedback from fans about how exciting the season is already, and we're only 2 episodes in. I think that it did what it was supposed to do. So yeah.
So after you find out you are not a traitor, despite having been touched on the shoulder, big roller coaster, what were your early gut instincts telling you about anyone who was suspicious to you, who was giving off red flags?
Yeah, so immediately I know if I'm not a traitor, Kevin Jacobs is 1000% a traitor. So that was a given for me. I took a look to my right, and I was having some great conversations throughout the day with just mingling with the cast and meeting people, and I noticed like Coco really stood out to me as someone who was very attentive to what was going on. Like she wasn't necessarily leading the conversations, but she was floating around and really like alert and taking information in. So I'm like, she would also make a great traitor. I'm trying to think production wise, like who would be great for production to put in the conclave that is going to keep people excited. And I think she was definitely at the top of my list. It was also between her and Thompson, and they were thankfully sitting beside each other, so they were very easy for me to just get my eyes on. So I was suspicious of them both initially, and then after that first competition, I had a great conversation with Thompson and Omar on the way back. And after that conversation, I kind of wrote Thompson off as a traitor, so that only left Coco. So I knew Kevin and Coco were my for sure's, but I wasn't sure about the third, which is why you hear me kind of make reference to Omar or Dom as potential third picks. But I was 100% sure about Coco and Kevin, and when I ended up in the graveyard and saw them take off the hoods, you kind of see me chuckle because I'm like, yeah, I already knew. Like it was pretty obvious to me at least that it was you two. But yeah, I think it was just again, those two were my givens, but I was trying to pick up on things like Omar turned super red. So to me, that was a red flag, and everybody kept mentioning that Omar just turned super red, right? So it was just basing it off of physiological, I guess, physiological, indicators from different people on how they reacted to that twist. What was, we're trying to pick up on, who am I going to put at the top of my list of potential traders after that?
A lot of people in the castle seem to say that y'all were very close this early into the game, especially with your game wrapping up and his game wrapping up very quickly. How quickly did y'all become friends, or did y'all know each other? Like, what's the situation here?
No, I didn't know him at all. I think in any of these, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I think it would be relatively across the board. People bond really quickly in these experiences. You know what I mean? It's such an exciting time and partly, traumatic, if you want to say that. So like when you're walking in, you're just looking for people who you naturally gravitate towards and who you can relate with, who speak the same language as you, in terms of like their outlook on the game. And I think that me and Curtis had found that pretty quickly. So it was just a level of trust that we had with each other. So it's not necessarily that we're best of friends. I didn't know him before the show, but we just had a very similar outlook on the game. And I guess that we were both comfortable with each other being faithfuls. And we were like, okay, let's ride this out. So that was just kind of my person from the start. So we were close in that sense, but yeah, didn't know each other beforehand.
And you could tell he feels pretty comfortable because he felt comfortable enough to you pulling up to that dock saying, okay, Ty, get out of the dock, out of the boat. What was your thought there?
So for me, we actually talked about that. I was supposed to jump off and grab the gold, which I'm sure is the next question that's going to come up about how Ty forgot the gold, right? So we can touch on that right now while we're here. So it's actually funny that, the edit I get for that. Of course, I forgot the gold, but I think there was 4 of us in the boat and 2 people on the dock, and nobody mentioned anything. But of course, it's Ty's fault. Right? It's not like I had to walk into some secret room where nobody could see what I was doing and I just forgot it. I jumped off the dock. I read, that we had to leave someone behind. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, I need to keep myself, Curtis, and Shaughnessy safe. So I said, let me go back in the dock, into the boat, and have this discussion to try to get Dom on the in the dock, because he was the last person I kind of had. That was my first interaction with him really on the boat. But I actually drove to the competition with Shaughnessy and Curtis, so I had a good working relationship with them. So my goal was just to keep us 3 safe and then have Dom get off. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. And we all forgot the gold, but I'll take the blame for it. That's okay if that's what makes people's life easier. But yeah, I mean, it was an honest mistake. And I think that after the fact, people seen it. But of course, again, early on in the game, something as small as that, forgetting something is grounds enough for people to be suspicious of you now, right? So.
Ty, I know you didn't need a Guru energy drink to have the heart pounding at the graveyard once you uncloak and see what the situation is. And Karine says, one of you live, one of you die right here, right now. Can you run us through how you were feeling in that moment and like what you were seeing, how Kevin was reacting? Like paint us the whole picture to the best of your ability.
Yeah. So again, like I already knew. So we get to the graveyard. I see two traitors standing there, but they're still cloaked up, so their identities are still hidden. But in my mind, I know who it is. Right? It's Kevin and Coco. So they walk up to us. They do the whole reveal, and I kind of chuckle because I'm like, okay, this is what I was expecting. But leading up to that point, we had a bit of time to kind of just settle. And I'm thinking, okay, what is going to happen? I got Venus beside me. There's two traitors walking up. Okay, this is going to be some type of recruitment, but it's not going to be that simple. Like something bad has to happen too. So I just put two and two together. Yeah, one of us is dying. One of us is not making it. So quickly as things are unfolding, I'm like, okay, what is Coco's biggest concern going to be with me coming into the conclave with her? Because I know for sure I'm standing here right now because of Kevin. There's no way that they probably picked one of us each. Coco has we don't have a relationship with each other, so there's no reason for her to pick me, but Kevin does. So I'm sure I'm here because of Kevin, which only means that Venus is here because of Coco. So my thing was I need to make my pitch to them so vanilla, so plain that it doesn't scare Coco into bringing me in there with her because Kevin's already a great talker. So like if she's gonna have an adversary in the conclave, she already has that in Kevin. So why would she want to bring a second one who has a relationship with Kevin from Big Brother and in personal life? It just puts her as a third wheel, and she brought that up as a very fair and great observation. So that was her concern. I made my pitch, my plea, and I was just hanging my hat off the fact that Kevin is this great social player. You know what I mean? He's able to talk to get what he needs and what he wants, right? So I was like, no problem. As long as I can make myself not seem like a threat, Kevin will do the pitching and the selling for me. He will make sure that he gets his way, and I don't need to do anything. So we stood there for I don't know how long it was, and I see his gears going. I'm like, Kevin, what are you thinking about right now? She just told you that she's scared to be the third wheel in the situation, but if you go her way, you are not that third wheel. So you're putting yourself in the exact same situation she's trying to avoid. And it's funny because maybe the first 1 or 2 minutes, Venus actually says, oh my God, Kevin's gonna pick you. And I'm like, nope, because I could see Kevin's gear, like his brain working. I'm like, I don't understand what you're thinking about, but I'm like, if he's already thinking this is not gonna go as straightforward as I think it's gonna go. So I said, no, it's not. And then we stood there for a while. They went back and forth a bit. I tried to jump in to get a word in to, get things going my way because I saw that Kevin was having a hard time, but Corinne shut it down and, it just played out the way it did. And it was unfortunate.
Now, if roles are reversed, you're in Kevin's position, he's in yours. Yeah. Are you giving in? Are you making sure Kevin comes into the...
No, Kevin's coming with me or both of them are dying. Like, that's how it's going to go. Like, that, if I'm being real with you, because I'm not just going to let my guy go freely like that. Just off, I play the game a little differently, though. And this is why I don't hold anything against Kevin. Kevin is just strictly game, at least from my perspective. In that moment, he was just thinking about the game, and maybe he felt that was best for his game. For me, loyalty is a big thing. So even if I don't necessarily think, bringing Kevin on is the best for my game, just strictly off the fact that that's my boy in real life, which matters to me more than a game, I'm bringing him just off of that alone, and then we figure it out from there. But I don't hold anything against him because, again, Kevin, from my understanding, even on his season of Big Brother, he said he would campaign against his own mom. You know what I mean? So he puts the game first, and I can salute that. Just not how it would have played out if I was there, but that's how it goes.
And I know we're about to run out of time soon here, Tess. I'll leave you with one last question. You mentioned Kuzi being on the first season. You are now here on the third. Is there anybody from Big Brother Canada that you would like to see get in the Traitors Manor for a future season?
Hell yeah. Daniel C, I think, was a very underappreciated social player. When you have such a big personality like Kuzi, it's very easy for her stature to overshine the people she's working with. But I think Daniel C deserves another run back on a TV show, and I think the Traitors would be a great opportunity for him to show what he's capable of.
There we go. Well, Ty, thank you so much for all your time today. We really do appreciate it. Again, gone too soon. Actually, one more question. Let's squeeze another one in. Are you done with reality TV, or if another opportunity comes knocking?
No, okay, I'm good. I'm good to go whenever. I need a redemption season now, so whatever show needs somebody with some fire in them, you know who to call up.
All right, then. Well, the sign off is easy. Then we'll say goodbye for now, but not for too long. Okay. I hope to see you soon. Take care. Have a good one, Ty. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.